If you're an energy healer or practitioner, I'm going to give you a tip. Oh, it's 234 on my phone. I'm going to give you a tip about soul retrievals and something that will make it an easier process for you. This is going to be about memories. So when I am going into somebody's field and I'm talking to their inner children, their current energy body, their astral body, or different incarnations, oftentimes I am connecting with them to heal some type of trauma. However, the trauma that they have experienced can be very significant, and they may not want to talk about it because it's very triggering, and they're going to go into fight or flight with their central nervous system. And then we know as energy healers that when somebody's in that state, it's much more difficult for us to read them in the first place. What I will do is, one, I usually take them to a location within the ethers or in my own field where they feel comforted and safe and nurtured. For example, I have a cottage that has all these books on the shelf and these comfy couches and a fireplace, and I'll get them a blanket and some tea to drink. And while we're sitting there with one another, I say, it's okay if we don't talk about it. Can I jump into your memories? I'm already technically in their etheric field, but we're going to go in deeper. Can I jump into your memories and look at what happened instead of us talking about it? And they always say yes. And if there's an inner child that I am talking to so that they don't feel lonely or abandoned, I say, okay, while I'm in your memories, my higher self is going to stay here with you in the cottage, because we also have the ability to bilocate our consciousness. Then I will go into the memories, see what happened, because seeing memories is better than nothing. Especially if they are not wanting to talk about these things. So go in, look at the memories, come back out to where I was talking to them in the first place, and then we will discuss how to make shifts or change their perspective, implement different healing tools, but not necessarily going through all of the trauma in and of itself. It's much more forward movement based. Or I'm validating their feelings and their emotions and helping them feel more grounded and centered. That is a shortcut because the alternative is you sitting there with that inner child or, their current astral body or different incarnation and asking them a million questions and working through their agitated central nervous system. And it's going to take a lot longer, where you could just get a snapshot of the memories and go from there. The second tip is you will be talking to an inner child, different incarnation, their current astral body. When you have gone to see a therapist, okay, I'm talking about you, or when I have gone to see a therapist or, a counselor of some sorts, we can tell when somebody has been through something that we have or if they haven't. They're either objectively talking about it and what they would do if they had been in that experience at one point, even though they haven't, or you're talking to somebody who has literally lived that. You're going to get a lot more out of that type of session with somebody than the objective viewpoints. And so when I come across different versions of my client and I feel that they have experienced something that is very deeply in resonance with what I have in my life, we have very similar experiences, I will hold a ball that is made out of all of my memories in this incarnation, from childhood, teen, young adult, who I am right now, and even future memories that I haven't even seen yet. And I will say, hey, can I give you this? And hand it to them. They will look inside of it and look back up at me and say, oh, you get it. You fully understand. And then that opens up their heart chakra, and they feel so much more comfortable and confident talking to me about this. That saves me so much time and energy, because otherwise I would need to fully articulate, hey, this is how you and I relate to one another. We have been through similar experiences, and giving all of these examples, whereas I can just give it to them in one snapshot. Then that allows me to have so much more time and energy to get deeper into the healing process with them, because I didn't have to communicate all of those things. If you're meeting people one-on-one, say face-to-face in a Zoom session, as practitioners, we know we have to explain a lot to people's human psyches. when I am doing pre-channeling before people's sessions, which I highly recommend, and I can make a video about that too if you want. But when I'm doing pre-channelings, I'm not going through somebody's human psyche. I'm going all the way to the root of where these things started in the first place without having to look through all those filter lenses and distortions. So I'm all about saving time. Okay, we need to get to what we're trying to get to so that I can do more transformative work when we are speaking to one another. So I told my client that I was working with earlier, and she's a practitioner, from here on out, I want you to always keep in mind, how can I collapse time? How can I make this easier on myself and my clients? And there are multidimensional layers. For example, I would not necessarily classify myself as a medical intuitive. It's something that I can do, but because it's not in my specific wheelhouse, it takes me a lot longer to do that. And so when I was in somebody's session one day, I met with one of their spirit guides who was utilizing a energetic scanner device to read her. And I said, hey, can I have one of those? Can you teach me how to use it? And they said yes. And I always do that. If I see something that somebody else's guide or higher self or inner children has, I'm like, hey, can I get that to help people? And so I have one of those now. So I was in somebody's reading, and she had some physical stuff going on, and I was having a difficult time perceiving what that was. And I said, oh, wait a minute. I pulled out my scanner and I hit on, and on the screen, it told me exactly what was happening with her. And it was on point when we had a discussion about it. And so shortcuts, okay, so that we can provide deeper medicine. I would love to hear what your biggest takeaway was, and I'm wishing you a very magical day.